Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Stacey Scott, and I'm here with Graham Wickham, President and CEO of Wickham Financial and Insurance Services, and we're back with you today for our weekly wrap-up. Graham, I understand that things ended on a positive note last week. What can you tell us about that?
It was nice to see, right? We
Yeah.
really snapped a 3-week losing streak for the respective indices. So that was really nice to have some positive momentum. You know, we really saw the index, the major indexes above the 50-day moving average. So that's a good trend in the short run. You know, does this have legs? Meaning, could this continue going forward? We'll just have to see. But we saw the S&P, we saw the NASDAQ up about 3 to 4%. Some sectors that really led: consumer discretionaries, materials, maybe materials led because we were seeing maybe a bit of an ease on the US dollar. But at the same time, we really still saw the US yields, or the Treasury yields, really interest rates still continue to move up and move up and up and up. And I think that's off the rhetoric of the Federal Reserve, just making statements that they're going to do what they have to do to continue to combat the stubbornly high inflation. At the same time, we did see OPEC, in terms of oil, saying that they were going to lower supply a little bit, or excuse me, production a little bit. So that might buoy or stabilize oil prices, because they've been kind of on a downtrend, which is great for inflation, but it can put some pressure on that side of the market in terms of oil stocks, so on and so forth. But keep in mind, they're still incredibly profitable, even if per barrel prices come down. From an unemployment rate, you know, we continually have really strong unemployment. We saw employment. We saw unemployment claims drop about 222,000 last week. So it's continued to reinforce that we got a strong job market. We have a relatively strong consumer and decent, not great, earnings, which paints the picture, as we've been saying all along. If we're in a recession, maybe it's not a deep, protracted one. Maybe it's technical and maybe it's very light. And it doesn't even mean it has to happen now. It could be next year or the next couple years. But keep in mind that, you know, recessions happen. So we don't want to be surprised when they happen. I know it's just not always fun to go through.
Right. Well, is there anything that we all need to be mindful of in the short term?
Well, that's a great point. I think tomorrow we're going to have a CPI number print, PMI, PPI number print. So that's going to be consumer price, producer price index. That's going to give us an idea. Are we on a trend of plateauing and inflation coming down? Or was that a quarter anomaly, right? Where we went from 9+ inflation down to 8.7 to 8.5. And I think some preliminary numbers we're seeing is, yeah, we're continuing to see that rollover that we were talking about. We're seeing that plateau and a rolling over on some of those inflationary figures. So our expectation would be yes. We'll just have to see if this is now setting a trend. If it's setting a trend, then I think our expectations for inflation, how quick, how fast, or how aggressive the Fed needs to be with a tightening policy, will really have to be rethought. But again, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. We got to get through the CPI numbers, the PPI numbers, and then, you know, get into the Fed meeting, where they're still anticipated to raise rates anywhere from 50 to 75 basis points right now, which is probably buoying those yields a little bit, moving them up.
Well, I guess we'll all be eager to find out what happens there. Thank you so much for that information. And thank you to our viewers for joining us today. Just want to present to you that we have our next retirement planning today courses scheduled for mid-October. We have 2 classes on Tuesday nights and 2 classes on Saturday mornings. And we would love for you or someone that you know who is at or near retirement age and really needs to learn everything they can about the process to join us. And we'll have that information on our website, and we'll be happy to provide that to you if you give us a call at the office as well. So thanks so much. Have a great afternoon, a good week, and we'll see you again next week for our weekly wrap up. Thanks.
Take care.